What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video. goldenhashira here. And today we are going to be looking at a new Shonen Jump title called The Hunters Guild Red Hood. Now this is basic. Well, I wouldn't really say basically because it's actually much more than that. But obviously, like from the premise of the title and like when I first read like a couple of pages, I was just thinking like it was a story of Little Red Riding Hood or whatever and some creatures, but it's much more than that, much more. So if you all do enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit that like button and also subscribe, and I will definitely be covering more of this. I believe the second chapter arrives on Sunday, so the 4th of July, so can't get no better than that. Even though I probably won't make the second chapter review till probably like late Sunday night or maybe Monday or whatever, but we'll see. So if you all want to have a discussion about anything anime or manga related, don't forget to join my Discord. The link will be in the description below. And without any further ado, let's begin. So we start off with the end at the beginning of the chapter, and we'll see that at the end of the chapter basically. So a tall lady with the red hood talks to a little boy about how they exterminated all of the dragons 500 years ago. So she basically just asked him, has he ever seen a dragon before? And like I said, we'll get into that at the end of the chapter. So now we are at the actual start of the story, where the setting is a medieval sort of village known as Kasoka Village. And then the talk of the village, or talk of the town or whatever, was about werewolves eating more and more villagers. And then from the idle chatter that occurred, the village had ran out of capable fighters to defend the village against the werewolves. So a young boy decides to basically nominate himself, and his name is Velo, who we briefly saw earlier. And like I said, he decided to volunteer himself to defend the village. So everyone literally makes jokes about how no one will be left by the time he's grown up. And then we get like a little mini history lesson about werewolves, such as how humans can literally just suddenly turn into one, and what they love to eat, which is human flesh. But no one knows the actual origins of the creatures. So the mayor of the village arrives and talks about how 6 villagers were killed by werewolves in the current year. And the thought of leaving the hamlet, which was also like another name for the village, behind came into play until he announced that he sent a request to the Hunters Guild, and everyone seemed surprised. The reason being was because the Hunters Guild was basically known as just like a group of mercenaries who would kill the monsters, but obviously for money. And it was founded by the legendary Red Hood, which I'm assuming was the lady we seen at the beginning of the chapter. I don't think that was actually explained, but we'll find out in the coming chapters. So, but the rumor was that basically they would charge a hefty fee in order to hunt the monsters down. Although the mayor knew of this, he was certain that they would be able to get the job done because of all the reports of all these other villages who hired the Hunters Guild. And although they were expensive, they did get the job done and actually hunt the monsters down. So that was the good part about it. So the question was, how was the village, or let's say the mayor, able to pay the Hunters Guild to take out the werewolves? Well, we get the answer to that question immediately after, because the mayor announces that he sold all of his sheep and even his own house just to cover the fee for a member of the Hunters Guild to complete the job. That's where the humor aspect of this comes into play, because he talks about needing a place to stay because he's homeless now. So a week later, a member from the Hunters Guild arrives, but it was a little girl whose name is Grim. So the villagers are in panic mode and immediately just want to start packing up everything and leave the village, because they just think that the werewolf will be too much for the girl to handle. So Grim demands half of her payment up front, but the villagers say that they should send someone else from the guild over instead. So she explains that there would be multiple fees for a request like that to happen, and it would cost like 200 silver pieces, which they couldn't afford. So they was just like, you know what, screw it, just send her out there. So Velu talks to Grim about being money hungry or whatever, or like being hungry for money. But she explains that every profession does the exact same thing for money, no matter what profession it is. They do the job for money because that's just how it works. So we see the wife of the mayor who tells Grim how Velu's parents were slaughtered by a werewolf, and the mayor killed the same werewolf to avenge his parents. And since that day, him and the other villagers looked after Velu or whatever. And then the mayor appoints Velu the task of guiding Grim to the mountains where the werewolf was likely hiding. So after heading towards the mountains, Grim realizes that the werewolf wasn't actually in the mountains, but was hiding in the village the entire time. And then the two decide to head back down the mountains to return to the village after they heard a human scream, which was actually nobody but the mayor. But it gets a little, I guess, a little dark, sort of. I'm used to this stuff anyway. I read some pretty dark stuff in the past, honestly. Anyway, so they return to the village and they enter like a hut or whatever, and they see like a pile of bones in the middle of the floor. And then we see the wife of the mayor who was basically hiding from the werewolf, or that's what she wanted to make it seem like she was doing. And then she tells Grim and Velu that the werewolf was the mayor or whatever, and he jumped or ran out the window. So at this time, Velu uses his brain and some detective skills or whatever to examine the window that the wife of the mayor claimed that the werewolf escaped out of. And he seen that the window was basically covered in a bunch of cobwebs, and he asked her, "Are you sure that a werewolf escaped out of this window?" And just then, that's when she knew that the jig was up, and she turned into the werewolf because she was the werewolf all along. And then the bones that we see in the middle of the floor was actually none other than the mayor's. So he's dead. He's dead. At that point, like the werewolf doesn't look like a typical werewolf that we would see off like any, I don't know, cartoons or fairy tales or whatever. It literally looks like a creature from one of the earlier Resident Evil games or whatever. I'm not talking about 8 because those actually do look like werewolves, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing though, because I love the creative aspect of like a werewolf not looking like a typical werewolf. Like, it looks creepy how this werewolf looks, and I'll show up an image on the screen anyway. But it looks very menacing, creepy. So at this point, Grim transforms into an adult, and she's the same adult that tall lady that we saw at the beginning of the chapter. So she then uses a smoke pipe or whatever to give off a smoke screen. So the creature then grabs Grim and swallows her whole. Then the werewolf attacks Velu. So Velu had the strength and courage to fight back, and he takes his rifle and points it at the mouth of the werewolf and fires it. Like, this man was going complete savage mode at this moment. I was like, I'm liking this plot, and I love the characters a lot, and I really, really love the art style. So immediately after, he took an axe and sliced through the creature's stomach. And he did that obviously so he can rescue Grim. So she crawls out and we see a bomb in the creature's stomach. So she was actually planning on escaping regardless. The bomb exploded as the two walk off like nothing happened. So this was actually one of the best moments that I've seen in a manga in quite a while, honestly. So she then asks Velu, has he seen a dragon before? And he states that they only exist in fairy tales or whatever, but she tells him that they actually existed and they killed the final one 500 years ago or something like that. and tells him that hunters won't stop until other creatures like vampires, witches, and werewolves end up the same way. And lastly, she asks him, does he want to become her hunter as well? So I think she actually might be the legendary Red Hood, because I guess that would explain how she just randomly became an adult. I'm assuming that's her true form anyway. She just has the ability to transform into a child or whatever she wants. And I guess it actually made sense that that was her at the beginning, because like when I first read this, she just kept referring to him as boy. So I guess that was kind of a dead giveaway or whatever. And given the fact that she looks just like the woman that was at the beginning of the chapter. So like I said, I cannot wait to read more of this. The second chapter arrives this Sunday, the 4th of July. I might upload this tomorrow, honestly, so on the 3rd. I really love this. Now I am gonna give a quick I don't want to say like disclaimer, but I know this is a side note. It's still related to manga, of course. So another series that I wanted to get into, because I heard people talk about it before, and it's a fairly new title. I mean, I know it's actually a bunch of chapters out or whatever, but I think up in America we recently got the first volume of it, which is Undead Unluck. I read the first chapter of it. I'm gonna be honest. I just thought it was basic. I just thought it was basic. Like I didn't like the plot. I didn't care for the characters. It was just like, oh. Now, I think I may give it another chance. I might read like maybe another 1 or 2 chapters, and if I still get like the same vibe after that, then yeah, I'm just not gonna read it. So yeah, that's my little quick rant about that. So I hope you all have enjoyed today's video, and if so, please don't forget to hit that like button and also subscribe and hit the I don't know what that was. Anyway, hit the notification bell as well, so you will be updated after I upload a new video. And yeah, Golden Hashira out. Peace out, everybody. And for those who celebrate the 4th of July, happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, and peace out.